Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 12, Episodes 12 and 13, and we all know that Episode 13 was the finale. I just think that it is so sad that Teresa has ended this season on a very sour and low note. I found her attitude to be just deplorable. And the fact that she can't even see how awful her actions are, that's sad. You guys already know where I stand in this whole Margaret versus Teresa feud. I'm on Margaret's side. So if you are Team Teresa, this review might not be your cup of tea. And that's okay, I get it. But I like to give everybody the courtesy, okay? I don't want anybody to feel blindsided or say, Brooke, you're biased. I want you to know where I stand off rip so that there are no surprises. But honestly and truthfully, I wouldn't be upset if this is Teresa's last season because I can't take another season of her acting like this. I can't. And for everybody who feels like Teresa is the show, yes, Teresa is the star of the show. She's the OG of Jersey. But nobody is that big where they can't get replaced. Everybody said that RHOA would tank when Nene left. And the show is still going on, okay? Season 14 is right around the corner in a few days. Again, no one person makes the show. Oh, and last week I was at Countess Luann's show. You remember Countess Luann from New York, right? Well, I was at her cabaret show, and Teresa, Jill Zarin, and Phaedra Parks were in attendance. Yes, so I saw Teresa and her boyfriend Louie up close in person. And I'm not even going to hold you guys, but I asked a question to Luann in the show, and I had to stand up. I said my name. And I swear to you, I think that Teresa and Phaedra knew who I was. Because they were looking at me like, And I didn't have a chance to tell Teresa, like, girl, you really showed your entire behind throwing all that stuff at Margaret. Okay, that was not cool at all. She left before I could tell her that. But anyhow, I just thought that I would share that. But let me not go off on a tangent. Let's just jump right on in to both episodes because I have a lot to say and we don't have a minute to spare. So we start off episode 12 with it being the next morning of them in Nashville. Everybody is in the house except for Teresa and Louie because remember that production made them go get a hotel room. So now we see everybody down in the kitchen, they're making breakfast, and of course the topic is what happened the night before. So you have Jen, of course, going so hard for her leader, friend Teresa, and she's like, well, you were asking a lot of questions, and you have to admit, you did call her a liar. So Margaret's like, hold on, Jen, let's not do that. I called her a liar because she accused me of leaking stuff to the blogs, okay? That's why I called her a liar. So, of course, Jen is sitting there looking stupid. And I'm like, Jen, it is so sad how you go so hard for a woman who would never go so hard for you. It is a one-sided friendship. Teresa will never have your back. And my whole thing is this. Yes, it is a bit annoying if somebody keeps questioning your man and all these rumors, but you know what it is when you get on these shows. You already know that the audience, the bloggers, everybody's going to be digging in your new partner's past and trying to drag their skeletons out in front of the whole world. You knew that. Louie knew that. So why are you acting so surprised? Also, if the shoe were on the other foot, Teresa would have a lot to say. We saw her going around spreading the rumors that she heard about Evan. So her acting like nobody can ask her any questions about Louie is ridiculous. If he's this great guy, then these rumors should not be upsetting to you. Margaret wasn't doing so much where you should be this upset. Yes, Margaret did bring it up a few times. It got a bit annoying, But, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's nothing for you to get so angry that you want to throw drinks at her. Teresa has this very nasty attitude. And I think it's crazy that her fans make excuses for it. She needs to learn how to control herself. She is 50 years old. So now Jen is in her confessional saying that Margaret needs to own up to her stuff and how Margaret is the one who revealed the affair. I'm like, baby, for the last time, I'm not going to say this again, but had Bill never cheated on you, this would have never been a thing in the first place. Be mad at Bill. Do not be mad at Margaret. You sound crazy. How are you more mad at Margaret, but not the man who took vows to be faithful to you? Like, direct that anger towards him. So now they bring up the barbecue dinner that's going to take place later on in the night. And Margaret's like, look, I'm not sitting next to her. Like, I don't want to be around her. And then you have Jen inserting herself, saying that maybe Margaret should apologize to Teresa. I said, girl, are you stupid? On what planet does the victim apologize? Margaret is the one who got humiliated in front of everybody. She got food and glasses thrown at her. So now Jackie says that it's just a real shame that everybody tiptoes around her and they're afraid of her. And then Joe's like, well, you know, that's just how it is. And she's just angry at y'all talking about her man. Like, it's frustrating. I'm like, Joe, why can't you acknowledge how awful your sister is? Teresa has the right one, because I can tell you right now, if I were Joe and Melissa, I would not be speaking to Teresa. I wouldn't care. The cousins wouldn't see each other. Everybody would suffer, because I'll be damned if I'm walking on eggshells around her. It's really a shame that Teresa cannot be told anything. Everybody has to tiptoe around her. How does that work? She can say whatever she wants to you, but you can't say anything to her. So now we see that it's time for the activities of the day. All the guys are out on a boat. They're drinking, taking shots. Joe Gorga bought some like strap-on penis and he's making them all take shots out of it. And you know how everybody gets. They get super drunk. I mean, Bill is like all messed up, okay? They are all shit-faced on that boat. Then we see all the women minus Dolores and Teresa. They're at the recording studio making their song. And the song is called Lady Drama. And I thought it was pretty funny that the studio owner's name was named Teresa too. I said, what are the odds of that? When I tell you that they all sounded a mess in that booth, even Melissa, I was like, Melissa girl, where did your vocals go? Like, you could carry a tune back when you came on the show, but now those vocals said, shout out to everybody, I have fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
So now we see Dolores and Teresa out shopping. They're both happy that they are away from the other ladies, especially Teresa. So now Dolores brings up Teresa's blind rage and she's like, sis, I love you, but this ain't it. We are too damn old to be acting like this. And I said, Dolores, you're one to talk, because the way you rolled up on Jackie earlier on in this season, you were dead wrong for that too. So then Teresa says that Margaret needs to learn how to stop poking the bear and to stop talking about her family. I'm like, you do know that words mean things, right? Somebody asking a few questions is not talking about your boyfriend or your family. Why are you allowed to question everybody and everything, but nobody can ask any questions about you? If there are all these crazy rumors swirling around about your soon-to-be husband because now they're engaged, you don't think that it's normal for some friends to have some questions? I know that if one of my friends was dating somebody with all these allegations, I'd be like, now sis, I know you love this man, but they're saying that there's XYZ going on back in the day. Are you sure that, that's not true? Like, was that handled? Like, what happened? I think that anybody would have some questions, comments, and concerns, like a good friend would have. When you look at Teresa's history on this show, you can see that the fallout between her and Caroline and her and Jacqueline, she's somebody who does not want to be challenged. You might not always hear what you want to hear, and that's life. Deal with it. Who are you to think that you're exempt from any sort of critique or criticism? You're not. I think that Teresa is just so desperate for love, and she is deathly afraid that this man might walk out the door, and if he does, she feels like this is her last chance at love, so she's trying to hold on to this relationship by any means possible, despite all the warnings and red flags. Personally, I couldn't stay with somebody who had all this stuff in their past, because everybody can't be lying. Like, I'm not sticking around to find out. So Dolores and Teresa's conversation ends with Teresa saying that she'll apologize to the group later on tonight at the barbecue, but Margaret needs to apologize to her for talking about her boyfriend. I was like, girl, you are a sicko. There's no other way to say this. Like, you need some serious help. Because on what planet does Margaret owe you an apology after the way you threw all that food and all that liquor on her? Again, Teresa knows who to try this with. I said, girl, I bet you if Monique Samuels was put on this franchise, you wouldn't try it. Child. And you know how I feel about Monique, but we're not talking about Potomac, so don't start. I don't want to hear it. So now everybody returns back to the house. They're taking naps, they're getting dressed and ready for the barbecue later on. And I could not stop laughing at how Tiki opened the door for the party planner. And as she was decorating the backyard, he was just looking at her. I said, uh-huh. I said, because the party planner is his type. She looked very similar to Tracy. I said, Tracy, watch out, honey. I said, your replacement, aka his third wife, might be right in Nashville. I said, girl, you better be worried, because how you get him is how you lose him. And we know how you got him, allegedly. But again, I digress. So now it is time for the barbecue to begin. The backyard is decorated beautifully. There's a bar, the table is just beautifully set up, and Dolores has a surprise for them, and they're going to be learning how to line dance. So while everybody is excited for the night, you can also see that everybody is also on edge, because we all know how this goes. Everybody is low-key afraid of Teresa, and Jackie makes mention that it's a shame that Teresa controls the temperature in this group. And like I said, it couldn't and it wouldn't be me. I would be paying Teresa dust, and I would dare her to say and do something to me. Okay? The reason why Teresa acts like this, because she hasn't met her match yet. I can assure you that if somebody was willing to go toe-to-toe with her, she wouldn't be doing all this. But anyhow, Teresa finally does arrive with Louie, and already she's throwing jabs under her breath about Margaret. And I have said this in previous recaps. Teresa is somebody where she can't stand you, right? She'll say, I don't want to talk to this person, I don't want to see her face. But when she gets around that person and they ignore her, she's upset that they're ignoring her. She's somebody where she wants you to be groveling for her attention so that she can turn you away. And it really ate her up that Margaret was just paying her dust. There is no way that I am fixating on somebody that I do not like if I'm at an event. You look crazy and immature. And then when Teresa was saying, yeah, you know, that ugly outfit that she has on, I should have thrown some drinks on that. It's like, do you hear yourself? You are 50 years old acting like you're a teenager. And girl, don't talk about outfits, because a lot of your outfits this season have not been it. So stop. And I follow that Instagram page where they show who's wearing fakes, and you've been on that page multiple times wearing fake Chanel. So again, sis, keep it real cute talking about somebody else's outfits. So now the line dance instructor arrives, and he's really cute, by the way. And so they start dancing, and then they ask him if they can line dance to the song that they made earlier. So while the song is playing, everybody's laughing except for Teresa. She's up there rolling her eyes at the song, talking about, well, I don't like drama. Marge causes all the drama. It's like, again, can't you just shut up and just enjoy yourself? You are determined to just bring the mood down. I'm sorry, but for you to be so happily in love, you're coming across as very miserable. So now here's where the drama begins yet again. It's time for them to eat their dinner. And of course, Teresa just cannot help herself. She gives the world's worst apology to the group. And she says, I'm sorry that I acted like that, but Louie is the love of my life and I protect him. And when somebody talks about him, they talk about me. Again, Louie is a grown-ass man. He does not need you to protect him. Let's start there. Second of all, you were dead-ass wrong to throw anything at somebody else. I don't care how mad you are. You need to learn how to control yourself. So Margaret is in shock listening to Teresa and this fake-ass apology. And everybody else at the table is like, wow, Teresa, that was great. That was beautiful. Oh my gosh, that was like the world's best apology. And you know, Janice is chomping at the bit with her desperate self. So she's like, oh my gosh, Teresa, I am just so proud of you. That is what I call growth. Like, oh my gosh. You see, Margaret, she did apologize. I was like, girl, do you hear yourself? So Margaret's like, that was not an apology. An apology does not have a but in it. Like, and I didn't hear an apology about throwing food and drinks at me, but okay, whatever. So here goes Jen instigating, and she's like, Teresa, Margaret's saying that she's not happy with the apology. So now Teresa's upset, and she's like, well, that wasn't for Margaret, it was for the group. So now Melissa's trying to diffuse the situation. She's like, well, Margaret, it was a start. And then Joe Gorga says, I mean, this is growth because years ago, Teresa wouldn't have said anything. So now Margaret's like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's just drop it, okay? Like, let's just get through this dinner in one piece because we didn't get through last night's dinner in one piece, all right? So now Teresa makes a really nasty remark, and she says, I didn't get to eat dinner last night, but I know Margaret ate dinner because she doesn't miss any meals. Teresa, let me just get you together real swiftly. Keep it real cute when you discuss other people's looks. You don't have too much room to talk, okay? People give you a lot of grace because your face is beat to the high heavens. The hair is always done. The body is snatched. But again, sis, just keep it real cute. Now, Jackie interjects and she's like, you're sitting up there fat shaming Margaret. Like, that is not cool at all. And I really hate the way you treat my friend. So now Teresa claps back and says, well, Jackie, your friend owes me an apology. So now Margaret's like, are you serious right now, Teresa? Like, I don't owe you an apology. And by the way, the apology that you gave to the group was not a real apology because a real apology does not have a but in it. And she's absolutely correct. So now Teresa says to Melissa, Melissa, talk to your friend. Tell that bitch to shut up. So now Melissa is freaking out. She's like, oh my gosh, you know, this just sucks because I'm in between a rock and a hard place. And it's like, Melissa, shut up. Stop being so damn weak. Get a backbone and tell Teresa to go F herself. Teresa can't stand you. She only uses that, well, we're sisters card when she wants you to do her dirty work and defend her. That's the only time she cares about you guys being sister-in-laws. Other than that, she could care less about you. Stand up to her once and for all. So now Margaret says, you know what? I am done with this. I'm not doing this. Good night, everybody. Like, I am done. She and her husband, Joe, go back into the house. Jackie and Evan follow along. Dolores is pissed because yet another dinner is ruined. And then Teresa and Louie go back to their hotel. So we open up this finale episode with the gang still in Nashville. It's the next morning. Dolores has hired a private chef, and everybody is in their rooms discussing all the drama that went down. You have Melissa and Joe talking about it, and of course, they FaceTime Teresa. Teresa, who sees no wrong in what she does, she's like, well, I gave an apology from the heart. She didn't accept it, is what it is, and she owes me an apology. And you know that Joe and Melissa are not going to say anything, so they're like, you know what? I hope that you guys can just straighten it out and we can have a nice day today, because it is their last day in Nashville. So now everybody's in the kitchen and they're discussing the drama that went down last night. And so Margaret is really pissed at how Teresa low-key fat-shamed her, and nobody said anything about it. Then Margaret addresses Joe, applauding that fake apology, and Joe's like, well, that's my sister, and, years ago, you wouldn't have gotten anything. And Margaret's like, are you serious right now? Like, grow up. So now Jen interjects and she starts questioning Jackie. She's like, well, Jackie, she apologized to you and Evan last year and you accepted it, right? So Jackie's like, yeah, but not really. The only reason why I accepted it was because I thought she was going to do more to my family. I was like, Jen, can you just shut up? Why are you questioning anybody about anything? We already know where you stand. You're going to have Teresa's back to the end of time, no matter what she says or does. You are just so nervous about being on Teresa's bad side. It's ridiculous. And you're in the worst position because Teresa knows that you're afraid of her. And the minute you let anybody know you're afraid of them, it's checkmate. They know they can do whatever they want to you. It's just really shameful how Jen acts around Teresa. So now Jen addresses Margaret and she's like, you know what, Margaret? You have to take accountability and own up to the fact that you were asking a lot of questions. Margaret's like, we all ask questions. We were all surprised about the news and the rumors going around. Like, what did I do that was so wrong? And for all you Teresa fans who are determined not to like Margaret, can y'all please help me understand, why is it the worst thing in the world to ask some questions? Be honest with me down in the comments. If you had a good friend who was dating or about to get married to a man who had all these allegations surrounding them, are you telling me that you wouldn't ask your friend what was going on? I highly doubt that you would not be concerned about your friend's well-being. What Margaret did was nothing bad. Yes, Margaret is a bit of a busybody. She is nosy, but for her to have questions, that's not out of the norm. Teresa is a public figure. She's making good money off this TV show. There are a lot of male gold diggers, okay? A lot of men who are up to no good. And Teresa seems like she's easily fooled, and she's desperate for love, and she can easily get swept up and be swindled out of the money that she's made. So now we jump to the next scene, and it is time for them to hop on and ride this bar cart. The tour guide is super hyped up. Everybody's super excited, and they're trying to have a good time despite all the tension and the fact that the group is divided. So while they're riding around Nashville, they're getting drunk, okay? They're taking shot after shot after shot. I'm like, pedaling a bike and taking shots, that doesn't really mix, but okay, if you guys like it, then I love it. Oh, before I forget, Nashville will definitely be seeing me sometime soon because it looks lit. It looks like a good time. The food looks delicious, okay? And this next scene, when they go for lunch at Hattie B's famous hot chicken, just know that I was drooling. Like, I love a hot chicken sandwich. So they sit down to eat. They're sitting at two different tables, mind you. So it's Jackie, Evan, Margaret, Joe, Jen and Bill together. And then it's Dolores, Frank, Melissa, Joe, and Teresa and Louie at one table. So, Joe Gorga wants to have this spicy eating contest. he wants to order the hottest chicken on the menu, and he wants to see who can eat it. Now, Jen is like, look, my husband is winning this contest hands down. Like, he loves a spicy meal. We find out that Bill loves putting wasabi on his sushi, and he eats it without a problem. Now, I love spicy food. I also love a spicy margarita, like my favorite. But I don't want anything that's so spicy where I can't even enjoy it, because that's no fun. And I thought it was kind of silly of Joe Gorga to order the spiciest chicken on the menu, because you guys know damn well that A, you're not going to be able to finish the food, and then 2, your stomach is about to be torn up. Like, order a regular chicken sandwich and call it a day. And I know you guys were hungry after all that peddling and drinking, so just order something that's not too spicy and, you know, enjoy the flavors. But of course, he orders the spiciest thing, and he's super excited for this contest. So anyhow, they're super excited about that. They're waiting for their food, and of course, Teresa has to bring the mood down, talking about Margaret. So Joe is like, look, can we just have a good time today, please? The last 2 nights were ruined. Like, enough already. Just sit here, eat your food, and just enjoy yourself. So now Teresa says that she wants to talk to Margaret right now. And they're like, Teresa, not right now. Do this later on. Like, don't spoil a good time. Let's enjoy our lunch. So she doesn't listen. She walks over to Margaret and she's like, hey, can we talk right now? Like, we're going to talk. Margaret says, look, this isn't the time or the place. Let's just enjoy our lunch, like, later on, but just not right now. So Teresa is not taking no for an answer. And she's like, no, we're going to talk right now. I said, how dare you? Who do you think you are that you're going to force somebody to talk to you when they don't want to talk? If the shoe were on the other foot and Margaret approached you like that, you'd be cursing Margaret out, calling her everything but a child of God. The same way that you say, I'm 49 years old, you can't force me to do anything. Well, you can't force Margaret to talk when she doesn't want to talk. And then here goes Jen being the kiss ass that she is. Well, that was nice, Margaret. Like, look at her. She took initiative. Like, girl, shut up. Is Teresa paying you? Like, what is your problem? So now everybody's food arrives and all the guys ordered some super spicy stuff. And Louie is the first person out of the contest. He can't handle the heat. And then Frank Catania is out. And then we see Joe Gorga and Bill. They're the last 2 standing in this hot chicken eating contest. So they called a tie. Now, in my opinion, I think that Bill won that contest fair and square. I feel like Joe Gorga couldn't handle it. You saw the spit coming out of his mouth. I was like, he should have been disqualified for that alone. Bill was just sweating. But I don't think that Joe Gorga should have also won with Bill. It wasn't a tie. Bill won that hands down, just my opinion. But anyhow, lunch is over and everybody gets back to the house and they're all taking naps and is getting ready for the night. Now, I felt a bit disgusted watching them all crawl into their beds, not taking a shower, because they had been out all day. They were out pedaling the bikes, then they go to lunch, and now it's like, I know you're hot and sweaty, so for you to jump in the bed like that with your clothes on, I was just so grossed out. Like, take a shower. Oh, before I forget, I could not stop laughing finding out that Bill and Frank and Joe Gorga's stomachs were messed up after that hot, spicy chicken contest. And then come to find out, Joe was hugging the toilet, throwing up, and Frank Catania brings the strap-on out so that Joe can force himself to vomit. And when Joe Gorga said, look, I would have stuffed anything down my throat to get that poison out, I could not stop laughing. So now it is the final night and they are out on the town at a very swanky rooftop in Nashville. The rooftop looks beautiful. They have cabanas, there's a bar, The food looked really good. They had these fried chicken and waffle lollipops, and I was like, okay, I have to try that. Like, I'm going to that exact rooftop, and I'll be ordering the same thing. Now, mind you, everybody is at the rooftop except for Teresa and Louie. They're still on their way. And Jackie goes on to ask Margaret if she has any plans to talk to Teresa. Margaret's like, child, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for right now, let's just enjoy our time in Nashville. And then they all make a toast to the trip. So now we see Jen sticking up for Teresa yet again. And it seems like she's now Teresa's mouthpiece, but she's going on and on about how Teresa is trying to get them in a good place. And I'm like, Jen, you don't have to lie now. I understand that you're up Teresa's ass, but let's not lie. So now Margaret says, you know what? You ladies have lowered your standards for Teresa. Like, you let her get away with a lot. So now Dolores takes offense and she says, no, I don't think I've done that. I'm like, Dolores, you flip-flop a lot. You don't really stand up to her when she's wrong. You haven't called her out on her BS at all. So again, let's not do this. Teresa and Louie finally make their grand entrance, and already it is super tense. So Joe Gorga pulls Louie to the side and he's like, look, I just want to talk to you briefly. You and my sister seem to be in love, but I just want to get to know you. So now Louie says, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me a chance. Like, you guys have been really welcoming to me, except for the ladies. So now Louie is just laying it on thick about how he just adores and how he loves Teresa and he needs her. I said, that's kind of a red flag, because you should never need somebody. You should want somebody. Okay, nobody can complete you except for yourself, all right? Let that be a lesson for everybody. But anyhow, he's just pouring it on about how much he just loves Teresa and how they're like one person and how, you know, he would die for her. I said, really? Again, laying it on a little bit thick. I personally am not buying them being star-crossed lovers. Something seems a bit off about how they met. I know she was out running with a friend and he was out in the Jersey Shore and they bumped into each other. But the way I see it, a lot of people are plotting on celebrities and reality stars, okay? If you find out that a certain person or a group of people who are influential or rich or popular, you know, whatever have you, if you find out that they travel here, they stay at this particular hotel, if you put yourself in a situation to meet them, is it really by happenstance and coincidence that you met? I'm just saying, y'all, there's a part of me that feels like Louie was plotting on her and he said, you know what? She goes to the Jersey Shore a lot. Let me get in the vicinity and hope to bump into her. And Teresa has a type. He fits that type. And the rest is history. I just don't believe that he happened to bump into her. I think that he was looking for her all along and he finally hit the jackpot and now here we are a year later. I'm just saying, y'all, you can't be so naive. People are crazy out here and they will plot if they want to meet you. So now Joe brings up the allegations and Louie says, look, I was divorced at 35. I was trying to find myself afterwards, and I was in a lot of toxic relationships with these really thirsty women. Then he continues by saying that he hasn't been a saint of a man and he's done some things himself, but he's not this bad guy like the way the blogs have been saying. So now he reveals that he really wants Joe Gorga's blessing because he wants to take Teresa to Europe and he wants to propose to her. So Joe is appreciative that Louie came to him first, and he says, okay, you know, that's fine. You have my blessing. And Teresa, while I can't stand you, I'm not completely heartless. Please sign a prenup before you get to that altar. Something and the milk ain't clean, sis. It will be a shame for all your hard work to go to nothing because there's no prenup and this man turns out to not be who he's claiming to be. Protect yourself, do the right thing, and secure your future and your daughter's futures, okay? Do not be stupid. I know you said it on Watch What Happens Live to Andy that you don't want a prenup, but girl, if you have a crumb of sense, please get this man to sign a prenup. Do not be stupid. So Joe, Gorga, and Louie finish their conversation. They go back and join the rest of the guys. And now Teresa pulls Margaret over to the side and they have a one-on-one conversation. Now you know everybody is watching them talk with bated breath because Margaret and Teresa have been going back and forth. It's been really volatile and they do not want a repeat of what happened on the first night in Nashville. So they get to talking and in the beginning it's going pretty well. No voices are raised just yet. And I actually had some hope that they would come to an understanding. So Teresa says, look, you know that I'm not happy about you running your mouth and talking. And if you had concerns, you should have told me privately. So Margaret says, look, Teresa, the news is out on the blogs. I'm not saying anything that they're not saying. Also, I'm the queen of putting all my shit out there, okay? Like, when you first met me, I told you out the gate that I had cheated on my husband and all that jazz, okay? So I'm not somebody to hide what I've done. Then Margaret goes on to say, and us pretending like it's not going on gives it life. If you would just acknowledge what they're saying and say, no, it's not true, then you would kill the whole thing. And again, she's right. If Louie is a great guy, then you shouldn't be upset at anybody asking you questions. So now Margaret says, Teresa, I've always had a soft spot for you. I love you. Why would you even think that I was being insincere? So now Teresa says, well, I felt the same way because I loved you when we first met because you comforted me when my mom passed away. Then Teresa says that her real friends, Jen and Dolores, have her back. Then Margaret says, Teresa, you've been so nasty to me. You call me fat. You call me a see you next Tuesday. You've called me all these really awful names. So now Teresa justifies that by saying, well, I was mad. I'm like, you can't just own up to anything, huh? Like, it's going to kill you to apologize to Margaret for saying those nasty things. So now Margaret says, look, all I've ever done was be good to you, and you've broken my heart. So Teresa says, ditto, I've been a good friend to you too. So Margaret's like, wait, like, are you doing this right now? Like, are you really serious? So she gets pissed. They start raising their voices. And now Louie walks over to defend his woman. And he tells Margaret goodbye. So Margaret walks away. She joins the other women. Obviously, things between her and Teresa have not been resolved. It's still really bad blood between the both of them. And then you have Louie in Teresa's ear saying that Margaret's jealous and she wants to be in Teresa's seat so bad. I was like, oh, Louie, you want to be in her seat so bad, don't you? That's why you're with her. Because she can put you on. Louie gives me very thirsty, very fame hungry. I don't think that he's with her for right reasons. But again, I digress. So now Louie says that he's over it. He wants to go home. He's talking about he wants to get a jet so they could go home right now. Then he says that Teresa is so blessed because she doesn't have to work anymore, that he's got the both of them. And then he says, come on, babe, let's go back to our 15,000 square foot home. I was like, who are you trying to flex for? Everybody in this group has a giant home. Teresa's home that she just moved out of was 16,000 square feet. So what are you saying? You sound like such a wannabe saying something like that. Like you're not used to anything. Come on, babe. Let's go to our 15,000 square foot ginormous home. Like who talks like that at your big age? So they leave the party looking real foolish. Everybody's in shock. Joe Gorga says that the pressure of all this is getting to Louie and he's cracking. Margaret says, I was right about Siggy, I was right about Danielle, and I'll be right about Louie. And I agree wholeheartedly. Something in the milk ain't clean about Louie. It's just not adding up. We find out that Louie and Teresa got engaged in Greece, and she is very excited for this man to be her husband. Then we see that Margaret is starting her own alcohol-free beverage line. Dolores has moved out of her fabulous townhouse, and she's back in the house with Frank and the kids. I don't know why. She should have stayed in that townhouse. It was gorgeous. She was by herself. That's what she needs. Why she has to be up under Frank, I just don't get it. But we also find out that she has a new boyfriend. Jen and Bill are working on their marriage. I said, okay, I can't wait to hear about all that at the reunion. And then we see that Jackie is taking it day by day with her eating disorder, and she's making some progress. But that's the finale. You could tell that this season was cut short because we don't usually see such a short season with only 13 episodes. Usually it's like 14 or 15 episodes. And they normally do not end a season on a cast trip. So it was definitely rushed. But y'all, I saw that trailer for that reunion. It's going to be 3 parts. Baby, you see Andy losing his shit. And he has said in multiple interviews that this is one of the saddest reunions that he has hosted. It's a lot of drama, a lot of mess. You see that Joe Gorga walks off the set saying that he's quit, he's done, he's over it. This was a very chaotic season. I don't know what it was, but the vibe this season was just off. It's not fun when everybody just hates each other. We need some element of fun and lightheartedness and friendship. But everybody was at war with each other. It was a lot to take in. But y'all, the season is over. Now it's time for this reunion. I already know that my blood is about to boil because Teresa is about to piss me all the way off. I just know it. But guys, that was my double recap for both episodes 12 and 13, which is the finale. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. And you guys already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Bye.